get her game face on.
You're recording.
We're in the boiler room. I've got new glasses, guys. It's making me kind of dizzy. I know there's going to be millions of you watching this video, and so we're really excited about this. Guess who we have back? We have Jarrett. He happens to be a botany major at a great university called the University of Southern Indiana. He is a junior?
Sophomore.
He's a sophomore, whatever. And he actually knows what his major is. That's pretty good. A lot of these kids don't. Hey, guys, we're going to talk about some exciting things today. 8 o'clock potato talk? No, check this out. We got a professional. This is the Colombian Exchange. We're going to learn exactly what that means. Basically, I'm just going to give the overview. It's just a wonderful exchange. The Colombian Exchange is a great worldwide exchange of fruits and vegetables. Once upon a time.
And animals. And diseases.
Okay, great. Now we're depressed. Goodbye.
But that's for a different video.
We're back. Hey guys, for instance, today we're going to talk about some great things like the Irish potato. By the way, all the vegetables you will see in this video were grown in the backyard, the 8 o'clock tomato talk backyard, by us, by my wife and I. So we're pretty excited. First thing we're going to show you today and talk about is, of course, the classic Irish potato.
South American.
So even this red
South American.
The origin of all these.
The sweet potato?
The sweet potato.
South American. Not related again. Not related.
So these are all from South America. All this stuff, you're saying. Yeah, well, this is exactly what we're talking about. Potatoes were not around once upon a time in North America.
Up until about the 1500s, they weren't over in Europe.
Nuts. The good old American apple was, though. Look
European.
At these.
It's European, actually. We just have the idea because of Johnny Appleseed.
Who was a pretty famous guy.
He's a very good guy now that we're learning, because him doing what he did by spreading all the different wild seeds around America was preserving a lot of apple genetics. There are a lot of genetics, but they have bred them to be so specific in their certain ways that a lot of apple genes have gone missing and died off because they're not cultivating them.
Right.
But by him doing that, there are a ton, billions probably, of different genetic combinations that we could make or do have out there now through wild apples. Because of what he did.
Well, that's awesome.
That's very, very important.
And really, I mean,
if you make a really tight gene pool, you get one disease that goes through, kills all of them.
And so,
much like the potato famine.
The potato famine. Yeah, there was one kind of potato over in Ireland. That I do know.
There were multiple different types, but they grew one in particular, and
that was
all of them died because they were all susceptible to the fungus.
Right, it just spread like wildfire. So diversity. Guys, that's why I do permaculture out there. So instead of planting rows and rows of tomatoes and stuff, I like to mix it all in, because if we get different exudates coming from different roots, it creates a great system underneath the ground. And that's what we try to do, is feed the soil out there. Just kind of ties into what Jarrett was saying. So really, with as far as the apple,
with
of
wild
apples,
if you have 2 crabapple trees in the same woods, 100 feet away, those are probably not even siblings. They're probably 8th cousins. It's that far, because one tree can make both of them, but it's probably more like this made one, and then its offspring, and then that one and it just goes on and on and on and on. And all those trees have died, but these ones that have their own genetic makeup now are related. As far as plants go, they're very closely related, but realistically, they have really different genes, because that's how plant genetics work, especially with apples, because they can't pollinate each other. You have to have a different plant that pollinates them. They can't be related.
Cool. That's more fascinating
On
stuff.
apple farms, they actually amongst the apples that we want to eat, they have apples that we don't want to eat to pollinate them that aren't related to them. Otherwise, they couldn't pollinate, because they're all related, because they're cuttings that have been grafted on. So then in
big business apple orchards.
Yeah. So then they have one breeder plant that is disgusting to eat. It would just make crab apples.
Right.
But they need that one so all the apples around it can be produced.
Okay, but like a small time farmer, or like the
He
ones
would,
that
he would still need to do that.
he would still need to do
You
that.
have to have like
different.
Yeah, with certain plants
varieties,
you can have with certain plants you can have a certain genetic like allowance in the breeds that like would still be able to produce, but then some it has to be so different. Like they cannot be related at all. So like a Honeycrisp apple and a Granny Smith might be able to on some farms, but they don't want to. They generally produce one type apple all the way down. So then that's why they have just one gross apple that can allow all of the plants to go.
Excellent. Wow. Crazy. Well, I do know that, and that's really fascinating, that there's such a myriad. I know a lot of them got lost 50, 70 years ago when the big business of apples started booming like everything else, like with soybeans and corn and what have you. And so we lost a lot of varieties. I had heard once that there were thousands of varieties in America, in North America, and they're kind of getting brought back by these little boutique, great companies like Seed Savers Exchange that are breeding and bringing back these wonderful, ugly. I mean, look at the shape of this thing.
Can take up to 15 years for a single apple tree to produce a single fruit, and then if you want those genes to go on to another plant, you need to grow another tree from that plant. So it can take 30 years to get just 2 generations of plants going. So like that's why they can get lost so easily, because if you don't make that tree go to fruit, all the genes are gone.
So you get to keep it going and stabilize it.
It's such a long frame of time to get to the point. Naturally, it's no time at all, but to us, it's like half of your life sometimes.
Yeah.
30 years is a long time.
Right.
I'm 20.
Exactly. That's huge. And so you can see the importance of the science and the actual reality that comes from the science is, of course, great knowledge, but the way it applies it. The science is pointing to the fact that there's such a diverse genetic pool. And I like to tie this into what I'm doing back here, and what I'm trying to get more people to do is grow organically, grow diversified stuff, honor and frequent and be a buyer of these seeds from these weird companies that sell all these strange varieties, to keep the variety going and to keep your soil active, your soil strong with different varieties, and as well the market where we're supporting these guys.
The way I look at it personally is, I can go buy a regular watermelon from a grocery store, but you can't buy an orange watermelon. So why not grow it yourself? You can't buy an orange watermelon from Bonnie. You have to buy it from the weird seed companies.
That own the patent stuff.
Yeah, like,
stuff like that.
why not go out and buy something and grow something you can't buy at your house? You can't buy a purple pumpkin, but you can grow it. You can now you're starting to get to the point where you can buy purple potatoes.
Yeah, I'm starting to see different colors.
You can't buy blue ones though, but you can grow them. Why not grow them? You can't buy white sweet potatoes, but you can grow them. So why not grow the weird stuff that you don't have the opportunity to buy? Don't go out and buy like a beefsteak tomato. Yeah, sure, you can do it and it's cool. Buy one that you can't buy somewhere else, because then yes, you got to go spend a little bit more money on the seeds. But you get the weird stuff. The weird stuff's fun to grow.